that once Jacob got right with God, he voluntarily made an oath or took a vow that he was going to be committed to God. He attached a few conditions on it, more or less. If God, he said, if you keep me and if you do these different things, but at the same time, nobody had to promote him to make a vow to God. Nobody had to coerce him. Nobody had to do anything because it is I believe, a natural response that when you realize you've been saved and God has blessed your life, it's just seen to be that you have a desire. You may not make the same degree of a commitment at first as you do later and all of that, but there ought to be this desire that you want to do something for the one who has done so much for you. Amen. So he made a vow, and when he recognized he was in the presence of the Lord. Now, otherwise today, it's a wonderful thing when a son can leave home with his father's blessing, even though Jacob got the blessing as a trick. You know, his name means trickster in the Hebrew language. He got the blessing and fooled his father, who had gotten old and couldn't hardly see who it was. But after he left home, he discovered that he could not depend on his father's faith forever. He had to meet God for himself and make his own life decisions by faith. And that is a lesson that God teaches every person that comes to him. That, like Deacon Charles Russell used to say at Outreach Church in Houston, every tub's got to sit on his own bottom. And that was saying that in this journey, you have to get to the place where you're relying upon what you know and your relationship with God and his word in order to be able to have the victory. Yes, Grandma and them prayed for us and took us to church and all that, and we were faithful then because they took us. Charles Stanley used to say when he was young he had a drug problem, and then he said he was just drugged. Faithful then because they took us. Charles Stanley used to say when he was young he had a drug problem, and then he said he was just drugged to church. Been there